Ow! Rude! Hey everybody, here to you, and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D. We did not start off with a warm welcome at all. I guess you could say we got a chilly reception. They're giving us the cold shoulder. Oh, I'm not funny. Why do I keep doing that? Anyway, we're now going to be starting off a new dungeon. This is Snowhead Temple. Probably one of my more personal favorite dungeons in the game. And to be honest, that's not really saying much because there are only a few dungeons in this game, so it's saying it's one of my favorites. Probably isn't really saying that much considering the fact that I love pretty much every single dungeon in this game. So, the next area we're going to be going towards is over here. And if you've not seen the rest of the Let's Play, then just keep in mind that we're only going to be focusing on the dungeon in this episode. You can click on the card on the corner of the screen! That was a big ball of epic fail right there. Well, if you fall down, you can use the Goron to go over here because the Gorons are invulnerable to fire. So that's pretty neat. So what I was trying to say is that we're not going to be focusing on stray fairies at all in this episode. We may get some if they're just along the path normally, but we're going to be focusing on a stray fairy montage later in the Let's Play. Oh my goodness, can I please jump on top of the freaking bridge? Alright, I've fallen off the bridge way more times than I care to admit. So, all I was trying to say is that we're not going to be collecting stray fairies, or at least that's not going to be the main focus during our first visit through Snowhead Temple. We will be taking care of stray fairies in a montage episode a little bit later, just like what we did with Woodfall Temple. But as for now, we're only going to be focusing on progress through the main dungeon. And this right here is the primary gameplay gimmick of the Snowhead Temple. It is a pretty big tower, so yeah, we're going to be here for a little bit. It's not that long of a dungeon if you know what you're doing, but it's a bit longer than Woodfall Temple in my personal opinion. So one thing that we can do over here is we can move this block, and there's stuff behind it. But we'll get to that in a moment because there's a thing that I want to do with this block first. Now, even though this is technically for a stray fairy, if I remember correctly, I still want to move it over here just for the sake of showing that when you move the block over there, it activates a thing. So another thing that I can remind you of is that in the previous episode, we also dropped Link's sword off with the blacksmiths in Snowhead Temple in the Snowhead region. So that's the reason why we're not going to be using the sword in this episode, because we simply just don't have it. When it becomes sunrise, we will likely leave the dungeon to go get a sword. Assuming, of course, we've beaten the dungeon at that point, which we should. I know my way around this dungeon pretty well. And this right here, this bothers me so much. This chest is not lined up perfectly with the door, and it bothers me so much. Like, couldn't you just hide it over here or something like that so you can hide it from the player's view? Why is it not lined up perfectly? It's driving me crazy. Alright, so now that we have a key, and also those ice blocks over there, don't bother with them, right? Don't bother with them if you had the if you have an empty bottle with the hot spring water, don't even bother trying with those ice blocks because it's going to melt before you even get to this place. So, yeah, you definitely don't want to do that. Even if you try using the Song of Soaring or anything like that, the place it teleports you to is still too far away for it to really be all that effective. I'm sure there are speedrunners out there who are able to get over here much faster than I can, and are probably laughing at me like, you can't get over here before the hot spring water cools? Haha, you suck. And that right there, what was that? I'll play the clip again, have it zoomed in, and running super slow, or something like that, but what is with Link's eyes when he's on Goron form, and when he's opening up a treasure chest? What in the world happened? That was not a problem in the Nintendo 64 version, but his eyes glitch when he's opening the treasure chest in Goron form, and no one noticed on the development team, and they never patched it in. They never patched in fixing the glitch. I don't understand what in the world happened there. Ah, boy. Oh, we almost died right there. Or got impaled by an icicle thing. So just like the icicles are blocking the way to the Snowhead region, these are going to require 2 shots. So you definitely want to keep that in mind. We're not going to be destroying all of them just for the sake of time. But what we will do, go over here. Also, There's a passageway over here that'll lead you to another stray fairy if you want it. Again, we're not going to be focusing on them in this episode. But what we are going to be collecting is a treasure chest. Now, his eyes don't glitch in that animation. It's only the one specific one. I really don't understand what in the world happened there. Alright, so this is a room that always gets me whenever I play through this game. So, what you want to do, when you activate this, it'll open up the one area. It'll have both of those things activated and things like that. We want to be in human form for this. Or Hylian form, or whatever terminology you want to use. And go over here, and you want to move quickly with this, because I believe this is on timer. I may be wrong about that. Yep, that's on timer. So, move quickly. Head back over here. Go back into Goron form. Curl up into a ball, slam onto the thing. This will cause the other two pillars to go down as well. Quickly go into human form, run over here, climb up the thing quickly so that those little white puff balls don't hurt you. And then we can get over here. And I know it's not good commentary to describe everything that I'm doing on screen, but I honestly really get nervous during that part. So there's not know what we can do right there. But there's some jars over here we can destroy. Yay! Destroying Pattery, our mortal nemesis! But unfortunately no ladder on the other side. But there is one over here, which we can climb. So that's pretty neat. Use our Goron form to roll around over here. And go inside the door. We can't do anything in here yet. Ah, that's what I was thinking. Okay. So we'll come back in that area a little bit later. Instead, what we want to do is head over here, and those snowball things will give you... Whoa, his eyes glitched again. Okay, so I think I may know what's going on with that. I think what's happening is that his eyes are rendered a bit differently when he's not looking at the camera, but his animations move too quickly for it to change when he's looking back at the camera. But at the same time, that's probably the same way that was programmed in the Nintendo 64 version, but it wasn't a problem there, so I don't know what was going on. After you deal a certain amount of damage to this guy, his name is Wizrobe. So let's lock on to him. It's Wizrobe. You get a chance to strike right when it starts to attack, beyond the lookout. So this is not that hard of a boss. Just keep in mind which one is solid, because the fake Wizrobes will be transparent. So the one that's solid. You know, wait, I want to be on top of the treasure. I want to be on top of the treasure. I didn't move too quick. I didn't move fast enough. Oh well. Yeah, you want to attack the Wizrobe that's solid. If you're playing on the Nintendo 64 version, you can look at the minimap to see a red dot, which will tell you which Wizrobe is the real one. You have creepy, glitchy eyes. But that's something that's definitely worth mentioning. I don't think it works in this version. Do we even have the compass? Yeah, we have the compass, so I don't know why that thing doesn't work. I don't know why that trick doesn't work on this version. I'm probably forgetting something pretty obvious, and if I am, then yay. So the reason why you want to come in here in this area, first of all, I want to demonstrate the new item we got. The fire arrows are a brand new item. Not a brand new item, they're like an upgrade of the arrows, but you can equip them separately, so that's pretty neat. I want that on, not that button. There we go. Alright, so you can equip the different arrow types independently from one another, which is really cool. I don't think a whole lot of other Zelda games do that. The reason why I want to demonstrate that is because this is a huge shortcut for something that's going to be pretty helpful for remembering a little bit later. It's probably a roundabout way of wording that, but whatever. Unfortunately, you cannot use a bow and arrow when you're in Goron form. You can only use it when you're in Hylian form. But with the super handy-dandy powers of the fire arrows, we can now burn everything in sight, and it's super amazing and awesome. But there's no way across this area, so you may think we're stuck. Au contraire, my friend. What we want to do instead, go down here, if we can stop rolling around. Ow! Why is everything in this place want to hurt me? We're going to go inside the store because there is something pretty interesting about this place. Let's go equip our Deku form onto this button. But before we do that, we want to melt this thing. So we're going to see this a little bit more later in the game. But this right here is a pretty good example of something that I absolutely love about Majora's Mask. What bothers me in most other 3D Zelda games is there's a really cool gameplay idea or gameplay gimmick that's used for pretty much only one dungeon. Or you have like an item that's pretty much only ever useful in that one dungeon. What I love about Majora's Mask is that the item of the dungeon, the fire arrow, is going to be useful to us for the rest of the game. It's not just limited to this one, it's going to have its uses later on. I could have been on top of the treasure chest again! Why am I feeling so badly at my dreams? But yeah, on top of the items themselves, the Deku form is also useful way beyond Woodfall Temple, and that's a Stray Fairy. So this is something that's really interesting, because games like Twilight Princess, for example, a lot of the items and things like that aren't really all that useful outside of the dungeon you find them in. Or, for example, well, Wolf Link is pretty useful in that game, but it's a very situational thing. But what I really love about Majora's Mask is that things like the Deku form and the Goron form have pretty interesting uses outside of the places you find them in, if that makes any sense. So we're going to be going in this area, equipping our Goron form, and slamming down the button. Yay! That will cause the thing to rise. But I don't feel like walking over there. We're gonna fly! Fly like a Goron to the dungeon entrance. That was a terrible song. The song itself is fine, but my lyrics are terrible because I'm a bad singer. So we go over here. Melt that as a way to shortcut to go to the back to the center of the area, but the things back there, there were some ice blocks and a couple passageways that we could have taken care of back there, but the reason why I'm not doing that is because, and the reason why I'm ignoring that treasure chest right there as well, is because if I remember correctly, those are all Stray Fairies. That would have been so cool if we landed on top of the tower bridge thingy. Why is this bridge giving me so much trouble? Ah, boy. Let's try that again. Hopefully this time without fail. Come on, come on, come on. Yay, we did it. So yeah, the reason why we're ignoring that treasure chest over there is because, if I remember correctly, it's a Stray Fairy. And like I've said plenty of times before, we're ignoring all Stray Fairies until later. But what we can do in here, use a bow and arrow to melt the eyeball, and oh! It's a shortcut! Ooh! Alright, so now we can go over here and go into Goron form and punch the blocks. So this is pretty much the big gameplay gimmick of this area. And I remember getting so confused when I was a kid about this central dungeon, about this central tower, because I always activated at the very beginning, and it always block off my ability to continue onward because the tower entrance, because the block thingies were there. If that makes any sense. So basically, wait until you're a little ways into the dungeon before you come back and activate this thing. I kind of wish I knew that when I was a kid, but I didn't, and it's weird. Also, this key roll right here, I believe the only really noteworthy things over there are Stray Fairy stuff, so we're going to be ignoring that. There is another key in this dungeon that we could have gotten, but again, we are ignoring it because it's only going to lead to Stray Fairies. And I've talked about Stray Fairies way too much in this episode. So now that we're going to be climbing up here, and I think that's pretty good progress for this episode. So thank you all so much for watching this episode of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D. In the next episode, we're going to wrap up Snowhead Temple. And until next time, need to give it to you. Oh yeah.